Ding dong, the witch is dead.
We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Ay, ooh, ah, ooh.
I would say pour one out for Kirky boy, but I don't waste good beer on little bitches.
Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah, and I could not be happier.
I will not ever feel bad when bad people get what the fuck they deserve.
Fucking stoked right now? You wanna know why I'm so fucking stoked?
Fucking yeah!
CK got AK'd. And he's gone.
He did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights.
We got Charlie in the neck. We got Charlie in the neck.
I wanted to make this video. It's gonna be very different to what we normally do, but I kind of just wanted to like go over things and maybe relate this to, I guess, the content I make. I want to say that I'm a bit annoyed. So obviously what happened to Charlie was terrible. You see stuff, right? You see stuff like that happen to people in war zones and places where there's like conflict, and you almost prepare yourself. But what happened to Charlie Kirk was made, it was in a setting where it was meant for debate, and like it was a friendly atmosphere where it was just meant for talk. And I think that's why it affected me to the point that it affected me. And the fact that Charlie, he was killed not for being like a bad person. He was only killed for his arguments were, his opinions were, and his, well, most of the time I would say facts. But like what really upset me, and I think what's really pissed me off, was not just what happened, but how people reacted to it. When you consider the fact that the people from the left, I guess, they're meant to be more, I guess, generous or more caring, but it just seems completely opposite. And to react the way people did, which was like to make fun of, to celebrate Charlie's death, where all he was doing is debates. It was almost like they're saying it's okay to punish people for simply having different views. This was done by someone who's on the left. We know that now. This fucking loser. He put like fascist and stuff on the casings of the bullets. And there's such an irony in this, which doesn't make any sense. You're calling someone a fascist while you're killing someone because of the things they say. And this really got to me, where you see people on the left accuse people of being fascist or Nazi, and then they'll do the most fascist and Nazi related things ever possible, and they'll continue to use that as a point. Additionally, if you see, I've been watching those protests in Britain, and, you know, I'm not on either side, but what you see is people on the left calling people who have grandparents that fought the Nazis, Nazis, which makes no sense to me whatsoever at all. You're calling someone who probably had ancestry who fought against fascists and Nazis, and you're calling them Nazis. It just, I don't understand. It annoys me. It really annoyed me. And seeing people online celebrating his death was like just disturbing as fuck, man. And I really wanted to, like, I don't know, it's such a weird place that we're in. And they're not only like celebrating his death, they're calling for people's death, fellow people like Charlie, and for their deaths, which was absolutely wild to me. And it calls for more political violence. And I don't understand how it's not only small creators, but big creators too that do this, and they're just getting away with it. It is crazy, and you hear about people who are getting fired. You hear about this, but I don't know. I just don't think it's enough. Let's play some here, right? I'll get some of those videos up, and it's so crazy. Anyway, I'm not going to play the full thing because there's no point. You get the point, though. This is what like the level of compassion people have for a person who wasn't bad, and it genuinely pissed me the fuck off. Look at this shit.
Charlie Kirk has been shot, chat. W's in this. I'm feeling like that fucking that Squid Game reaction news where everyone's fucking cheering, bro.
Hi, Tier Man. Hi, Tier Man. Have you
And there we go. Okay, so a fat fuck like this, right? He goes out and he criticizes it for no reason, and there's people obviously standing up to him, calling him a loser as he is. But like the fact that the fact that in this world you can publicly say this shit with your face on the screen and not be embarrassed by saying this is absolutely crazy to me. There's millions of these, dude. It doesn't stop.
There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
Well, breaking fucking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5-mile wide mouthpieces, Charles Chucklefuck Kirk.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
Celebrity mosh because Charlie Kirk got rest in piss. Like, I honestly, bro, you get a life. Get a life. I hope this person never gets a job, bro. Every time, and look, if you see someone celebrating like Charlie Kirk's death and you know them personally, don't do anything to them physically. Obviously, of course, don't do anything. But maybe just show their school, maybe show their friends, maybe show their employee what kind of person they're hiring, what kind of people they're hanging out with. If you are an employer, I don't think this is the person I'd like to employ. This is not the kind of person I'd want representing my job. That's why you see so many people getting fired because of this shit. But they keep doing it, and the fact that it's so normalized, so people think this is normal, is actually like fucking pissing me off, man. And I think the problem and the reason people like the shooter, like this fucking loser who would go out here and do such a thing, I think it's due to people, even on the right and left, labeling each other so easily Nazis, fascists, pedos. I think it just waters down those terms. We call each other things just so easily without actually meaning what that thing is, or maybe not knowing what that thing is. And I think the left is more guilty of it, where they'll call people Nazis and fascists, and there'll be people who have nothing to do with fascists or racists or Nazis. And doing this radicalizes people. Like if you tell a kid, this person's a Nazi, this person's terrible, this person's a fascist over and over again, they'll grow up thinking that, even if it's not true. And that's what happens, right? If you have a person who watches far right or far left content creators and they get fed this information, they'll grow up thinking this person's terrible and we need to get rid of him. That creates an environment where that person feels justified to do such things as this. And the crazy thing is that this isn't just like content creators or just fucking idiots. It's news as well. It's news. And there was a news channel which fired the guy, but they openly said, the first thing he said, right? I think this was not even an hour after the shooting. They said it might be someone shooting their gun in the air, and then the guy goes on to say something like, it was coming to him because his thoughts and his words would lead people to actions like this. Now, I've misquoted this badly, but it's something along the lines. He said something along the lines of it was coming to him. This was gonna happen.
We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
This guy is as much a journalist as I'm a fucking astronaut. Honestly, the fact that you can go on news and say this shit is fucking crazy. Even an hour It's like me. I'm not even gonna get into it anyway. And then I'm gonna move on now to like social media, right? I think modern day social media is so hard to know the limit between free speech and moderation, and I think there should be a limit to how much free speech can go. Too much free speech, in my mind, is bad. When someone's calling for violence, and you can see this, and I've watched videos to really kind of get my ideas, but you can see it on Reddit and Twitter. Like, I watched a video of Asmongold, and I'll touch on this further, but I don't really watch him, but he made some good points on how, like, you can go on these platforms, and people are openly, and when I say people, I don't mean 2, 3 people, hundreds, thousands of people are openly calling for violence to happen on people. Additionally, the algorithms in these social medias don't promote people in the middle. They don't promote people just in the right, a little bit in the right, a little bit in the left. They promote extreme views because they drive engagement, and they amplify both the far left and the right. You view it, the more viewers it gets, the more it gets promoted, and it's just endless cycle of bullshit. And I want to touch on something else that Asmongold said, and I'll play his clip because I feel like he explained it better than I can. But doxing, why does anyone dox anyone, right? I've been personally against doxing, and when I say doxing, I especially mean like someone's address, like which is not like name, it's not like photo, because like people post those publicly, right? But when you're releasing people's like phone numbers, their addresses, why does anyone dox? That's what I mean, and I'm very strongly opposed to it. And it enables radicalized people to take action, violent action. Communities foster this. For example, right? I've been very strongly against this, but why do people dox? They dox to enable, and what does doxing actually do? It enables people who are radicalized, who do want to take violent action or action in general, it gives them a gateway to do this. That's why in I guess the gaming community overall, and maybe some of the content I make, I usually go after like those groups who do dox and who openly SWAT, who threaten to SWAT, who openly threaten to dox, because it leads to stuff where you're allowing people who are radicalized to take action. And that's why I went through against groups like the Queen Team or Wolf Legion, because to this day, right, the Queen Team is gone. To this day, Wolf Legion openly admits to doxing people. And I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying people in those communities openly admit to this. And I want to play the Asmongold clip here, and I think he'll explain it better than I can. So here it is.
The doxing, right? Why do you dox somebody? Why do you post a person's home address? It's to make other people that are insane, like the person who killed Charlie Kirk, it's to give them the ammunition they need to kill that person and to put that person's life in danger. That's why they're doing it. And so that's the reason why they want to find out the identities of ICE agents. That's the reason why they want to find out the identities of Tesla owners, like at the beginning of the year. It's so they can destroy their car and destroy their lives.
I'm going to take this from Asmongold's video again. I don't want the world to become a PvP server. I should be able to argue with someone, be angry with someone without it getting personal. And I think that's what these communities, especially some of the ones I'm involved in, have problems with. I think especially with the two groups that I've said, that's why I go after groups like that, because of shit they can do. Because you like, if you research, you've seen people how they can get killed from swatting, and how bad that is, and how it can destroy families, and people still to this day openly admit to swatting people. It is terrible, and openly dox people. And I'm not saying face and name, I'm saying addresses, phone numbers, parents called. It is terrible, dude. I don't think anyone should be getting their address leaked out. I've had my address leaked. I don't think anyone, and it enables people who are radicalized to do bad stuff to those people. And that's why I would never, me personally, I've never doxed anyone to a point where their personal stuff's been out there. It's always been things that are publicly available, publicly gotten, publicly shared, right? That's always been what my kind of idea has been behind that. Some closing thoughts here. I think, I didn't really want to make this kind of content, but I don't know, like, I just felt, I wasn't going to make this stuff after I saw the Charlie stuff. I'm not going to lie, the video fucked me up, but then the reaction to what happened was genuinely, like, I felt like I was living in a alternative fucking world, and it felt bullshit. Like, it felt terrible, bro. And I just want to touch on one thing. I think Charlie, like, I didn't always agree with him, but the way I watched him when I was like doing my homework and stuff from time to time, and the way he was able to debate, he was very neutral. When I say that, I mean like he wasn't really offensive. He wasn't really aggressive when he debated with people. He would have gotcha moments, and why I really liked the debating style, because he would break things down very simply so people could understand. And I just want to read one thing, and that'll be kind of it. And hopefully I've been able to explain myself good in this video, but I just don't know, because I didn't write a script or anything for this. But there's a saying that I heard, and I want to write it. They didn't kill Charlie Kirk because he was an extremist or fascist or a threat to democracy or inciting violence or any other reasons they're putting out there. They killed him, they murdered him because he was effective.